Now say it.
No. That ruins it.
How does it ruin it?
Because it's supposed to happen before.
Come on, can I just hear it, please?
No. You ruined it. I can't believe you've done this.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this. Jerry...
Just a really good job. Okay.
Yeah, there it is. There he is. Hey, here's my guy. So, week 2 happened.
Yeah.
I wish it hadn't.
I had a good time.
Shut up. We're gonna talk recaps. Obviously, there's still 2 games left. We're doing this today because my schedule is pretty booked this week during the week due to multiple band practices in softball. So, makes the most sense
That answers all the questions I didn't ask.
Shut up. So, it makes sense to get this podcast out there, and capture this moment.
Yeah, let's get after it.
But we have clean teeth.
Yeah.
Very
Both
clean
went to the
teeth.
dentist. Yeah.
Both went to the dentist today. All right.
I put fluoride on my teeth. Now I can't drink alcohol tonight.
That sucks.
I know, this is the worst.
That sounds like a nightmare. I lost to Alex.
Yeah.
This is honestly
awesome.
like.
On the plus side, though, you did predict that would happen.
Right.
You got your first one right of the year.
He did. That wasn't my first one, right?
No,
I did go over 5. Wow, I suck.
I love that you didn't remember that.
I did do, by the way, 2 weeks of last season's predictions. I got those in the books. I'm going to eventually release those once I finish them. I mean, here's the thing, right? I am now starting to worry about my team. I'm not saying that it's like it's done, it's over, I'm not making the playoffs, but like obviously, so more than anything, I regret not drafting Kyler Murray. I was debating.
Kyler's been kind of a stud.
I was debating between Josh Allen and Kyler Murray. And granted, Allen has faced 2 of the best secondaries in the league in Pittsburgh and Miami.
But how do you win by 35-0 in?
Because
it's
they had
like a very pedestrian day.
They had 3 rushing touchdowns.
I know, but
and
like he's also usually more of a rusher too. So
they made it honestly, like, here's the thing: like, it was 35-0, but that was because Miami's offense was so bad. Their defense was constantly on the field. Like, their defense actually put together a good performance. Their offense was, and they lost their starting quarterback like on the second series of the game. Not sure would have made a difference against Buffalo, but like, I expected more to Josh Allen. Obviously, Joe Burrow had his worst day of the year so far, and maybe one of his worst days of all year. No one hit. Nick Chubb did kind of his floor.
He did fine.
Like Allen Robinson, I don't know why they're not using Allen Robinson in Chicago. Like the routes,
first of all, it's Andy Dalton.
I get it.
Maybe you can see some upside with Allen Robinson, knowing that it's going to be Justin Fields moving forward.
I'm not trading him because of that, but it's like it's the routes that they're having him run. It's just embarrassing. The Dolphins defense I shouldn't have started anyway, but like I think they're a good defensive unit that's going to actually have some good performances as long as the offense can get their shit together. Mm-hmm. You know, and there's like reasons to be like not, like I said, there's reasons to be okay here. Rondale Moore hit on my bench. Marvin Jones did okay in the absence of Laviska Shenault, getting injured. The real hurt on the bench is Trey Sermon. I mean, obviously Tua got injured, but
he's
like
in
whatever.
Concussion protocol now too.
What the fuck, man? Like, this was supposed to be his moment. He gets like, what was it, 1 carry?
I mean, only 8 yards.
Yeah. He had 1 carry for 8 yards.
And then he's in the concussion protocol.
Got hit so hard he was in the concussion protocol and fumbled. And thankfully it was overturned, like it wasn't a fumble, but like just a bad, like a no good, terrible, awful week. But I do think you started 0-2 and I learned this from doing the predictions last year, or like the first 2 weeks of the predictions from last year. You did start 0-2.
I don't remember if I started 0-2. I mean, I was like 4-7 on the year, so it's probably pretty likely that I started 0-2.
Started 0-2.
But I don't know if I was going 0-2 with an 83-point week.
I mean, this was the worst.
It's a tough one.
This was a terrible. I'll let you talk about it. It was just a terrible performance. I'm going to pull up your first 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah. I don't really remember, obviously, the beginning of last season, but and I won week 1 with 145. So
never mind then. Yeah, you did. Sorry, because you played Jason week 1.
Yeah.
All right. Still though, it's not.
It's not an ideal situation to start 0-2, especially with.
That's kind of a hot take.
I mean, it's not. I'm just saying, not ideal, especially with that bad of a week, because you're not only are you in a hole, you're in a bigger hole.
Yep.
On to my game, looking like I'm gonna get the win. I like my team.
Yeah.
I'm really happy actually with how Teddy Bridgewater has done. I'm hoping he can keep this up, but I don't know. I feel like even DeAndre Hopkins kind of underperformed a little bit. I think this week is kind of the opposite of last week, where I left a lot of points on my bench. I don't think I left too much on my bench this week. Like Julio getting 6 for 128, I am thrilled. Like, okay, maybe he's actually going to be relevant.
Yeah. Miles Sanders had a down day, but aside from that, your team did what you wanted.
Yeah, San Francisco's defense is good. Like, they had the 32nd ranked defense, but that was with DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams getting like 30 garbage points in the last like 8 minutes of that game.
Right.
So like that's part of the reason why I was debating between Tyler Lockett and Miles Sanders last week. I went with Miles Sanders. I was debating them again this week. What did I do? Like,
Tyler Lockett seems like a stud this year. I think
he's never going to get doubled.
Right.
Because of DJ Metcalf.
Right.
And he has Russell Wilson. Like,
I don't think there's any chance you lose this game.
I mean, it would be an epic collapse if Goff and Hawkinson can't combine for 5 points. that would be a bad beat, I feel like.
But you're in good shape. I mean, you're 2-0 now. Windows 0-2 with me.
He's 0-2. I mean, he had a solid week at a 121, but like, I'm just a little. You can't feel.
Did he though?
You can't. I mean, with 121's not bad, but I'm just saying. Like,
121's not bad, but here's the thing. Like, so, and I'm the guy who scored 83, so like, I get it. Like, I can't throw too much shade, but like, when you look at his team, right?
No. There's obviously concerns because like, who does he feel comfortable starting at running back right now?
Devin Singletary, honestly, is his best running back right now. I hate to say it, but he's had two good
but Zach Moss was even back and vultured a touchdown from him. So it's like Devin Singletary's upside is always going to be limited because of Zach Moss. But like, outside of that, like. Are you feeling good about Antonio Gibson when you're playing against the Giants and he only gets you 8.3 points?
Nope.
Like, there's concerns with his running back position, obviously.
Absolutely. 100%.
Obviously, he's still getting solid production out of his quarterbacks. Baker didn't even have like a great day. Still got him 17.5.
Like when you adjust for defenses, what I'm saying is he beat me by 40 points this week, right? Yeah. When you adjust for defenses, he beat me by 20.
Yeah, I mean, he makes up 17 on like even the Steelers defense had I did not realize this. If I did know this, maybe I need to be paying a little bit closer attention. But like, I had the Panthers last week playing the Jets. Who knew the Panthers defense was going to play this well again? But the Steelers defense apparently lost 5 defensive starters.
I didn't know that
before the week from COVID stuff.
Wow.
And then TJ Watt gets hurt. It's like, okay, it's not surprising they didn't have a good week. So
right.
I don't know who they play next week. I'm hoping they kind of bounce back.
But you won.
I'm probably going to win. I'm feeling pretty comfortable about it.
Speaking of probably going to win, I think Jason's probably won this match. Although I'd say of the two, if we had to pick like one match that could be a bad beat, this I think has a more of a chance to be a bad beat for Jason than Windows' match against you because Zach still has Devontae Adams in the tank who can go off.
He can go off. So I'm not going to comment too much on how much people spend on their fab budget, but this is one of the concerns with spending
$400
of your budget on
Elijah Mitchell.
Because, I mean, obviously he got hurt, so that's a little different, but was he having that great of a day before he got hurt?
Nope.
Like, this is, like, very similar last year with Dallas Goedert. It's like, you spend 40% of your budget on a guy, and it's like,
if
he needs to hit.
Yeah, if he fails, then you are playing catch-up in already a bad situation. Usually, you spend that much after a loss. You spend that much because you need somebody. I'm surprised that Jason did that after a win.
Yeah, and another thing I'm a little concerned about with it. I mean, Kyler Murray's just being a fucking monster. Despite 2 picks, puts up 33. But
don't talk about Kyler Murray.
So Jason and I were talking about some trade stuff, and Kyler Murray was discussed, Tyreek Hill was discussed, and like Tyreek Hill, like how does he only finish with 4.4 points when they put up 35?
Yeah, I don't get that.
That's crazy to me. Like, I feel like he has a lot of these boomer busts. I mean, he still puts up 125 in the week because Cooper Kupp goes off for 9 for 163 and 2 touchdowns.
Don't talk about Cooper Kupp because Robert Woods did not hit.
I think Jason's he has a lot of potential there.
Why isn't Robert Woods scoring?
All he has, the thing I'm concerned again with it is, sorry, go ahead. What's wrong with Robert Woods?
Why isn't Robert Woods scoring? Cooper Kupp throws up a 30 burger and Robert Woods can't break 10. I don't understand. Like, I don't like football. I don't like fantasy football. I don't like running this league. I don't like babysitting you fucks. Why do I do this to myself?
Yeah. So Jason talked about how he has like 6 RB2s, and like they all put up RB2 numbers this week. Like,
no, someone put up flex numbers, man.
I mean, like 10 points I think was his best running back this week. 10.3. Like,
yeah, this is exactly what we talked about last week. Like, I don't. This is so why
like
you pick Jason, I pick Zach.
Maybe DeAndre Swift pops for him this week. I mean, he put up 20 last week. Maybe DeAndre Swift does that again, and it makes him feel a lot better about his running back situation. But like 10, 6, 9.8, 9.6,
and again,
10.3.
this is part of the thing about like the score line is inflated. Brad.
Who's Brad Montgomery?
I assume that's Brad, like League Brad, right?
Wait, is Brad's middle name Montgomery?
I don't know.
Well, I guess we're about to find out in 30 seconds.
Or Brad married David Montgomery for his money.
I mean, I'd do that.
Right.
Anyways,
who wouldn't?
Yeah, I would be surprised if Zach's team comes back here to win.
The one thing I was just sorry, I didn't mean to go back. The one thing I was just saying was this is kind of the
Gibson and Jacoby Myers for Tyreek Hill. I mean,
obviously, who gets Tyreek Hill?
Yeah,
like it's not close. Like it's not close at all. You're again RB2 maybe.
I don't know who Jacoby Myers is.
A wide receiver from the Patriots.
I know who he is.
But no one cares who he is. So like this matchup is inflated by the fact that Pats D Rams D is a 12-point distinction. But for that, it's about a 10-point score line. Brad, wow,
No, I don't think so. Let's open this person's.
Here, right click. If you are a new person in the chat, we appreciate you. We're welcome to the channel. All one of you. I mean, who knows?
No, that's definitely this is a new follower. I know Brad's middle name. It's not Montgomery. This is a new follower.
Hi, man.
I don't know if he's following, but he's watching it. This is awesome.
We appreciate you more than the shitbags who are in our fantasy league.
In our league who aren't watching right now
because they don't watch when we do this live. So we're just recapping the last 2 matchups from this week in fantasy, and then we'll talk about predictions for next week.
I have a couple of things I want to say about McMillan's team.
Can I just start by saying I told you so?
No.
I said he was the guy for the title. And once again...
Let me say this. I did say last week that he had a couple of guys pop that I don't expect to do as well, and that's very apparent. I said Amari Cooper probably had his best game of the year, and what does he do? He goes out and puts up 3.9, exactly like I said. Now, having said that, I'm scared.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Because Derrick Henry, because despite Amari Cooper going for 3.9, he goes out and puts up 175. I am scared.
I said Derrick Henry's the fucking guy.
I still think Christian McCaffrey will end up as RB1 because Derrick Henry actually had a good...
Probably.
Derrick Henry had a surprising amount of receptions in this game. I think he had 5 or 6 catches. And like, if Derrick Henry on top of his running is going to give you 5 or 6 catches a game, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, no.
I'm scared.
I agree. Like, here's the thing. Derrick Henry might very well finish as RB3, RB2, RB3, RB4, anywhere in there. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But, like, that's what you drafted. That's what his value was when he was drafted. He was drafted, what? Like
5th overall, 6th overall?
6th overall?
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
Like,
so, I will say, too, like, remember how last week we were talking about how, like, his best option might actually be starting both tight ends? What the fuck? Gronk goes out there and puts up 25.
Yeah.
Or no, he only had 18.
So 18, but still.
18 and 20, like, it would have been better for him to start him in either the Superflex or the regular. Like,
I said it.
We both said it. Like,
we called that. And here's the thing, like I said last week, if I had to pick one team of the winners, that this is the team I don't want to face, this is the team that scares me the most.
I'm scared.
It was his lineup, and this is why. Because when they hit, it is a team that will beat any roster in the league.
But, like, how is it possible? Like,
everybody hit.
I'm saying after this, no, not that. I'm saying, like, after this week, I will be averaging like 135 a game, and I would like the average is like 20 points below what his is.
Right.
He put up like 155 last week, 175 this week.
The scoring is inflated a little bit because of the Superflex edition. Like, it's inflated by about 20 points more than normal.
But how am I putting like?
But
I feel very comfortable with my team, and I am scared.
Yeah. I mean, McMillan has, I think it's safe to say, he has put together the best team he has ever had. Because he's not a good fantasy football player. He's just not. Like, statistically speaking, he's not.
So I will say, I think outside, like, and might also be a benefit for him. Like, outside of tight end, he doesn't have a ton of depth, but like, that might just be good for him. It might just be like, yeah, no, you got your like 9 set it and forget it players, and
then you don't
and just ride that to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm nervous.
It's only 2 weeks.
Yeah, so but we can talk. I mean, we've talked enough. We've sucked McMillan's dick enough today.
Someone's got to.
Another like pretty like mediocre performance out of Daryl's team. I think he won last week. I think 108, like 97.
Yeah, he had the closest matchup of the wins. If I had to pick like 3 of the weaker teams in the league right now, I think it is Window, myself, and Daryl. And that's obviously this is the way too early like stage. Like,
I mean, it's tough when Jameis Winston throws 5 touchdown passes one week and then comes out and gives you 8.
But that's Jameis Winston. That's what I'm saying. Like
it is. But Alvin Kamara giving you 5. That I don't think that will happen.
That's his floor
again.
for the year. But like Jameis Winston, that is the risk you run with Jameis Winston. Yeah. Wentz had an okay day, for Wentz. Who was his bench quarterback? Zach Wilson. Oh,
2.3, brutal.
Yeah, I think
so he was one of the ones that, like I did, held off on drafting a quarterback. So you expect, you thought this could happen, but. Also, Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Sprained both ankles.
Yeah.
He ain't playing next week.
Yeah.
So are you going to feel good about Zach Wilson in your lineup next week?
He's going to go to the waiver wire,
Like,
I'm sure. And to be honest, I might be there with him, so it might be a bidding war. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, because I can't with Tua, like, I'm worried. And with Joe Burrow, I'm probably going to start Joe Burrow, but it's like it.
Do you feel good about it?
Not really. Not as much as I used to.
I'm, like, thrilled right now. Like, I'm hoping that Jared Goff goes out and like gets a bunch of garbage time points again this week, and I can just feel comfortable starting both him and Teddy Bridgewater next week. Because, but I will say, like, I think streaming quarterbacks, like, everyone thought the 2 quarterback league thing was gonna like fuck up the streaming thing. Like, you can still stream quarterbacks here. Like,
it's harder.
Like, it's harder. Sure, it's harder. But Jared Goff sat out there on waiver or on free agency and gave up 28 points last week. Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray were getting you 30.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not expecting 28 points out of Jared Goff. But if he can get me 15 to 20, I'm going to be happy about it.
It's going to definitely...
he's still a streaming.
Injuries, it's also... One thing I don't think we anticipated playing as much of a role as it is injuries to the quarterback position, right? Because, like, when a quarterback goes out, all of a sudden, let's say, like, Tua is the perfect example, or Carson Wentz, right? Carson Wentz, probably doubtful. Maybe just out. Tua, questionable right now. Like... What happens when these guys can't go? You have to pick up the backup at the last minute. There's only 2 starting quarterbacks. If everyone has 3, there's only 2 starting quarterbacks that are out there at any given time. So, like, the talent pool is somewhat thin.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe a couple of extras just because of the people who have, like a Trey Lance. Who you're expecting them to eventually be the starter.
Yeah, like a Justin Fields, I get it. But it's like, that
that
doesn't help you during the week.
It doesn't add a ton of depth to the quarterback position there.
Right. Last prediction, or last recap, and this is actually this might actually be a prediction because
it's gonna be a prediction. It's gonna be.
We both predicted Brad. He's in the driver's seat, kind of.
I mean, he's projected to win by a few. What does he have? A 9-point lead? About a 9-point lead. Aaron Jones versus Aaron Rodgers.
The Battle of Aaron's.
Yeah, I mean, it's
in Green Bay.
It could be close. But this is actually kind of a big one too because they're both 0-1.
Yeah. I mean,
it's gonna be a sweat tonight.
And as someone who's 0-2, I can tell you it sucks.
Yeah.
I still go with Brad. I think he's got the edge.
I think so.
But but wouldn't it make sense? Like Aaron, like there's a reason I was scared to play the Bills this Sunday, right? Because like when you lose a game, you feel like you should win. When anytime after a loss, like I feel like you come out hungrier, right? And wouldn't it make sense for Aaron Rodgers after that embarrassing performance to like go out and throw up 40?
I'd like to believe that, but I also believe that these are professional football players. Like, do you really need extra motivation? If you do, I don't think that's a good thing.
It's a fair point. But if anyone needs extra motivation, it's the guy who's like, yeah, fuck my team, fuck the shit, I can go host Jeopardy. Like,
but yeah, I don't know. Like, Clyde Edward-Helaire, 2.6 points. Like, I mean, I guess we knew running back was always.
I was never a CEH fan this year.
I wasn't either, but like
seeing what he did last year, I wasn't impressed.
Like, there's not a lot of points on the bench.
Well, and also Will Fuller, I thought might give him a little wind in his sails. Will Fuller is indefinitely out, it seems, on due to a personal issue.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised that with the half-point PPR addition that Brad went 3 running backs. Like, I feel like there's been more 3 running back sets than I would have expected this year so far.
Yeah, I would agree.
I thought Jamar Chase had a pretty good week 1, so to leave him on the bench is also a little surprising to me. But this is the problem. Like, tight ends are still just, like, so thin. Like, 1.3 points. Like, even Mark Andrews is supposed to be, like, one of the more elite ones. 8,
he's, like, mid-tier, yeah. And, like, he's one of, like, the better mid-tier options, and he's 8 points. Here's the thing that worries me about Brad's team, right? His bench was disappointing. His starting lineup wasn't much better.
I mean...
He might squeak away with a win here. Someone has to win.
Yeah, I mean, someone's going to there's an entire possibility someone's going to get a win here with less than 100
Can someone just tie?
This is why we shouldn't have added the secondary part of the decimal scoring. If we have only one decimal, it's much more likely.
Absolutely. But Tyrod Taylor, doubtful for next week right now. His backup is Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, I don't know how... I mean, he started Trevor Lawrence last week. I don't know how comfortable he felt with Tyrod Taylor. Like, Tyrod Taylor had a good week against Jacksonville.
But look at what...
It was Jacksonville.
Scroll down and look at what Trevor Lawrence put up.
No, yeah. I mean, dude, like, this is what I was talking about. Like, Jacksonville's not good.
And, does he start another position in the Superflex? Does he start... This is the problem with the Superflex. It's like, if you don't have that second quarterback
if you
there...
don't have a quarterback, you can start something else.
But you're playing it... It's like fighting with one hand instead of two. It's like a significant disadvantage.
So, yeah, it is. But I've also was looking at some of the rankings last week for, like, the Superflex rankings they put out, and, like, I was not supposed to start Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Like, there was it was either a running back, I can't remember who it was, but there was somebody that I was, in theory, supposed to start ahead of
It's
Jared Goff.
hard to, though, right?
It's hard, yeah. Like,
yeah.
Because it's like, if a wide receiver gets me 15, I feel good about it. If a quarterback gets you 15, you're kind of like, well, I wish you
this
done
sucks.
better.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard.
Yeah.
So...
Predictions, because my food's getting cold. We're going to week 3. This is actually what seems like it's going to be the Desperation Bowl. A battle of 0-2s in Window and myself. Window is the current favorite.
No, they actually already have the projections out for next week?
They do indeed.
Surprising.
And Window is the current favorite. I'll show the bench just to...
Yeah.
So we can see what all is there. I mean, the only change I might make, and I don't know that I will...
I mean, he might move Devin Singletary up ahead of, like, Javonte. I'm a little surprised. Like, Javonte Williams and Ronald Jones this week was surprising.
I might very well move Jalen Waddle in. Maybe for Higgins or Woods, but maybe not. I don't know. I mean, this is probably the lineup I'd start, honestly. Maybe Marvin Jones for Robert Woods, too. I don't know. I might mess the wide receivers a little bit, but this is probably the lineup I'm running.
Yeah.
And it's got Window as a 10-point favorite.
No.
No, it's got me as a 10-point favorite. Oh, thank goodness. Whew.
Yeah, but like I said, I expect...
Thank goodness projections matter.
I expect that Devin Singletary will move into this starting lineup.
Sure, probably the flex spot. I mean...
How do you feel... I mean, I didn't talk about this when we were looking at this week one. How do you feel about Jonathan Taylor right now?
Not
like,
great.
Nyheim Hines gets the contract extension, and then Jonathan Taylor has a down week. Like,
not great. I mean, Nyheim Hines, it seems like they are.
They like him.
It's going to be the same thing as last year. But I also do think there's going to come a stretch where Jonathan Taylor's like you see Devin Singletary put up like 17 or something like that last week, right? And it's because he had a 48-yard run and a touchdown. That accounted for more than half of his points, right? Jonathan Taylor's going to have those. And every week he gets one of those, his week's made, right? Like, all I need is a 50-yard touchdown, and you've done your job if you're Jonathan Taylor for me. Like, because the rest of the scraps you get are going to be enough to make you serviceable. So, like, I don't love Jonathan Taylor. He's right now a flex RB instead of the RB2 I needed him to be.
Yeah.
But he's also underperformed. He only needs to come up a little bit.
How did he do in week 1?
I think he did, like, okay.
In week 1. 14.6.
Yeah.
Again. It's
okay. He had one down week. Like, if he like, I don't think it's...
You don't love seeing back-to-back weeks of less than 3.5 yards of carry.
I agree.
You don't love that.
I agree, but I think it remains to be seen. Tennessee also, I don't think, has the defense that they used to have. What did Tennessee do in their game this week?
They won in overtime against Seattle, like 33-30.
Okay, So, like, let me actually... Here, maybe the better way...
Because Carson had a couple of rushing touchdowns, I know that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they're a very good run defense, is what I was getting at.
I mean, they gave up 30. It can't be that great.
NFL Week 3. Oops. Middle of the road.
Middle of the road, yeah.
So, like, whatever. My point is just that I'm okay on Jonathan Taylor right now. Obviously, he's been... My whole lineup has been disappointing. Allen Robinson is the 55th best wide receiver. That's insane to me. Robert Woods.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it insane?
Robert Woods, or Allen Robinson at 55 is insane.
Outside of Jacksonville, has he ever had a top 10 finish at wide receiver?
I don't know, but he's also never had a quarterback as good as
Andy
Dalton or no. That's how bad it is. He's never had a quarterback as good as Andy Dalton. He's never had
Mitch Trubisky and Andy Dalton are pretty comparable.
Okay, I would say Andy Dalton's still a shade better, and Justin Fields is gonna be the best quarterback he's ever played with as soon as he takes the freaking field.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a rookie, who knows? Like
probably
there was a time when Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns were actually putting up numbers in Jacksonville. Like, that was when Allen Robinson got the contract in Chicago.
I just think... I'm going to go ahead... By the way, let me go ahead and write down the predictions.
All right.
I'm obviously predicting myself because I have out of desperation more than anything else. But I do think that I have some not terrible matchups this week.
Yeah, and like the one thing I was saying is like something I feel like he should feel good about is moving Devin Singletary up. He's got Washington.
Yeah.
It's not a good matchup for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't... I mean, Patrick Mahomes is going to have himself a day, but you expect that no matter what. So, yeah, and I think I am actually going to go with you as well.
Thank goodness. I can't wait to lose.
I don't get many predictions wrong, bro.
That's true. Thanks, buddy. Jason Smith and Alex Burchak playing. I'll let you go first since I talked a lot on mine. Look at the advantages, though.
Yeah, 10 points. I mean, who knows if Elijah Mitchell's going to be in there. He's predicted 11.7. It's a little high, but from what I would think.
Speaking of...
Kyler Murray gets Jacksonville, dude. Like, Jason's going to win.
You got Jason?
I have Jason because want to know another thing I said I was concerned about last week? What did Ezekiel Elliott do this week? He had an okay week this week, or
yeah,
16.7. That's okay.
Fine.
Tony Pollard looks better.
Meh.
Like Zeke might lose this starting job, like, or it might just straight up become like a timeshare because Tony Pollard looks better than Zeke right now.
But so in this thing, like
Najee Harris finally found the end zone, which is good.
Najee Harris looked terrible until he found the end zone.
Yeah.
Like he had that one good stiff arm and he had the touchdown, but like, go ahead, Brad. If you want to go ahead and ask the question, we'll go ahead and answer it on stream live. We don't like. We appreciate the fact that you're listening, following along, and watching. Anything we can do to answer the question, feel free to ask. So let me look at these matchups.
I think I am going with Jason. I'm going with Jason. Kyler Murray getting Jacksonville is like fucking huge.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't think... Like, I think Alex quarterbacks have some tough defenses. Minnesota is kind of middle of the road, I think. I don't know. Tampa Bay is obviously a tough defense.
I think the Patriots defense is going to eat Jameis Winston alive.
Yeah,
I'm going with Jason.
Wait, Jameis Winston's not on these teams.
Well, no, he's not. But the Patriots defense...
I see.
I think they're going to eat Jameis Winston alive. I think he's good for at least 2 picks in this game.
I'm going to go Jason.
That's the Jameis Winston we know and love, right?
I'm going to go Jason. I mean, I think it's going to be closer than
again, it's a little
prediction.
tough. Like, no one has set their lineup for next week. Right. We're having to do this a little bit early. But yeah, that's where I'm going.
Daryl and yourself.
Bro, look at the check marks.
Again, but hey, that's one less check mark than Jason had. I mean, we talked about the issues that Daryl's team has. It helps that you have Teddy Bridgewater against the Jets. It helps that you have Christian McCaffrey against Houston. It helps
DeAndre Hopkins against Jacksonville.
And Austin Eckler against Kansas City because that's going to be like they're probably going to be playing from behind. They're probably going to be checking down a lot. in passing, that also doesn't hurt Keenan Allen's value necessarily. I mean,
Dallas can't get stops. Miles Sanders could be a good play there too.
I will also say though he has the Broncos D against the Jets, so that's helpful.
That does help.
And he's got like Calvin Ridley against the Giants. He's got some decent matchups of his own. Obviously Saquon gets the Falcons as well.
But I'm not feeling great about Saquon no matter what.
Your biggest benefit is he's hurting at quarterback right now. And so we're having to do this presumptively because we don't know who he's going to pick up on the waiver wire. But barring that supplemental information, I will go Jerry because of that. It's just because I don't know, and I not knowing, I will say I'd be shocked if he didn't try to pick up Danny Dimes. Going against the Falcons.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you got yourself too, right?
Of course I'm picking myself.
You always do.
What kind of question?
You literally have every week so far.
Have I been wrong?
I don't think you've ever not picked yourself, or maybe once or twice. So he says, Brad has a question. He's got Hill and Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson, and Jerry Jeudy on IR. Running back one is Joe Mixon. Which wide receiver should he trade for a running back? He can sweeten it with either Leonard Fournette or Melvin Gordon?
I'm assuming Melvin Gordon.
So
yeah.
Here's what I'd say. The problem that I have with trading either Cooper had like one down week, but is otherwise, like, I think he's kind of a stud. Like, I do think Amari Cooper is going to generally eat. Allen Robinson is the principle of trading. You never want to sell low, right? You want to wait till your guy booms for like 2 or 3 weeks and then sell him and get the most value you can out of him, right?
And it's tough because both Amari Cooper and Allen Robinson had bad weeks.
And
it's
exactly,
it's tough to get a high value out of it.
Exactly, especially Allen Robinson. Like, I think you hold him. I think you have to hold him if you're an Allen Robinson over, because the moment Justin Fields comes in, his value has the potential to skyrocket.
I'm gonna say I was gonna go the opposite way. Like, of all of them, like, Justin Fields is kind of the unknown. Like, you know what you're getting from Dak right now, and Amari Cooper still has that big play potential. I feel like if I'm picking between Amari Cooper and Allen Robinson, I'm going with Allen Robinson. I don't know how much you can get for Jerry Jeudy, but he's out for 6 weeks, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like a big ankle injury, right? So, like, I mean, if you...
Maybe given that information and given the fact you have Tyreek Hill, maybe it makes more sense to trade either Robinson or Cooper. I would, if you're going to pick one, I'd pick Robinson.
Yeah. I mean, if it's which one would you most likely want to go? I'd rather, of the 4, the one I like the least is Jerry Jeudy, but I think the one you can actually get some value out of would be Allen Robinson right now.
And the other thing too is it depends on who you're targeting, right? Like, figuring out a running back to target right now, because again, you're going to want to pick someone who is having kind of a down start to the year to buy low.
I would say though, I don't know if I'm trading away Leonard Fournette right now, especially on a low. Like, I'm not using him as a sweetener because he looks as good as he's looked in the NFL right now.
Maybe even Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, Melvin Gordon I wouldn't mind because even the guy that he's splitting time with, Javonte Williams, was his last name?
I think, yeah.
Javonte something. Can't remember it. He didn't even have that great of a week this week. Like, at best, they're splitting. If you can get, like, if you have to throw somebody in, I think Melvin Gordon is the one to throw in there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Any more questions, feel free to ask us, brother. Let's move on, since we both picked you.
Of course we did.
Shut up. Brad and Zach, battle of presumably 1-1 versus, I think, did we say Zach's going to lose this week? So it'll be battle of 1-1s probably.
He will.
This is actually the closest projection we've had so far. But Brad is having to deal with his quarterback issues because he's going to have to start Trevor Lawrence unless he goes to the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Or unless Tyrod Taylor makes a miracle recovery. Meanwhile, Dak plays Philly. Lamar plays Detroit. That's a good matchup for Brad, though. Exactly, and that's the thing.
Sorry, going back to the comment in there.
Yeah, no, I think your analysis is spot on. Seriously. So Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is actually, I see why it's a close projection. Zach obviously is going to make up ground with at tight end. I think Zach has the edge on quarterbacks just because of what we talked about with Brad. Honestly, I go Zach.
I'm going Zach.
Yeah, like it's. I think. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate you, brother. Hey, we will. This channel will be doing this at least once a week. We're gonna have tons of content. Usually, what we'll do is we'll talk about the bidding. You know, we have free agency auction bidding. We use $1,000 to give more room for more, I guess, room for the decimals and differences and stuff like that. But we'll certainly go through like free agents that we think are hot or not, predictions, recaps. We'll talk about, the general status of fantasy football and a lot of these players. So if you're looking for insights, we appreciate you watching the channel, man. Seriously. And we appreciate you more than the guys in our league.
So just real quick to touch on this.
The Tony Pollard thing?
Zach actually has Tony Pollard 13 for 109. Like, I'm saying, I think Tony Pollard's going to continuously get work in this offense now.
Well, and here's the question, right? Do you start him over, obviously you don't start him over Joe Mixon. I don't think you start him over Myles Gaskin necessarily. That's probably a closer call. But, do you start
I feel like maybe Myles Gaskin I could start him over. I'm not.
Courtland Sutton. I mean,
I wouldn't be. I would be mad about. Again, I touched on it earlier. I feel like wide receivers in a half-point PPR makes a little bit more sense, but Tony Pollard also gets the receiving work in that offense.
The only problem with benching Courtland Sutton is he plays the Jets. And the schedule it varies from week to week depending on our schedules. Usually it'll be sometime between Tuesday and Thursday, just because we try to do the matchups after. Honestly, the best day for it is usually Wednesday, because by that point the free agency has happened, but it's before the Thursday matchup.
We're not having to rush Thursday night before the game starts.
Wednesday is usually the most common day. Sometimes Thursday, occasionally Tuesday, and rarely a Monday like today. So thanks again, Brad, for tuning in. And the last matchup of the week, we both picked Zach.
Yep.
Last matchup of the week is James and
McMillan wins. You got it, McMillan. I'm not gonna say. I'm still mad that I don't have Adam Thielen. That's still some bullshit. But you're gonna win. Just look at his. First of all, look at his projections for all of his players. Then
position ranks.
Look to the right and look at the averages and how they're all higher than the projections.
Well, what's also crazy is they're overperforming a little bit, but the position ranks are what scares me about McMillan's team.
Just nobody outside.
Tom Brady, number 3. Derrick Henry, number 1. David Montgomery, number 10. Amari Cooper, 8. Adam Thielen, 4. It's all top 10 except for Matt Ryan, who who's his backup?
Derek Carr, who's number 8.
Oh, hey, Alex tuned in.
Hey, there he is.
Thanks, Alex, for joining the chat finally. We have now as many people in the chat in our league as out of the league.
He's glad you tuned in. Dude, comment earlier. We didn't know you're here.
Right. So he's got Derek Carr, who's right now questionable. I would say if he's going to, I would still start Matt Ryan against the Giants.
Probably against the Giants.
You don't want to start a quarterback against Miami secondary, even though Josh Allen.
I will say this right now: if anybody has the cushion right now to do something crazy, it's McMillan.
Yeah,
McMillan, do it. Start Gronk in your superflex. Fuck this league. Show them that you can win with any lineup. If you win this week and actually start both tight ends, GG. But I'll give you the trophy now.
Challenge flag. So the ballsiest play McMillan can make isn't starting 2 tight ends. Go ahead, McMillan. We're gonna be watching that game together, right? Go ahead and start Derek Carr. I'll make you a deal. I'll make a deal on the podcast right now to McMillan. This is I don't know if we can do this. So if the league vetoes this, it obviously won't happen.
Vetoed, but go ahead.
If the league accepts this proposal in our matchup, if Tua is healthy, if he starts. If we get the word that he will start in week 3 against the Raiders, against McMillan's Raiders, I will start Tua at the Superflex if McMillan starts Derek Carr, if he's healthy as well.
This is collusion. You can't do this.
I don't think it's collusion. Because we're both... First of all, I think the entire...
Honestly, I think you're getting the worst end of this either way.
I agree. I agree, but I'm not.
I don't want McMillan having an advantage. He's already fucking kicking our asses.
Is it an advantage though? Like, is it like it's more of a pride thing? Like we both got to start our quarterbacks.
Yeah, I get what you're doing.
Again, if the league allows it, I'll do it. If not, obviously I won't.
But yeah, sorry, James. I think is James going to win this week, or is he going to lose?
Hell no. Are you kidding me?
Not against McMillan. This week 2. Is James winning or losing? I don't remember.
It's the one with Brad, so it's the close one, but chances are he's going to lose. Right now the slight edge is to Brad 60-40.
Okay. Yeah, James, you might be in trouble. You're already in 10th. You're going to get a loss, and then you get McMillan. That's some bad luck.
Hey, I'm 0-2, so I feel your pain, brother. And you're not necessarily 0-2 yet. You might be able to pull it out still.
Yeah.
All right. That's our show.
Jesus, McMillan's lineup right now is averaging 167.
Will you stop roster baiting for McMillan?
I can't.
I said this last
flustered.
week.
I'm flustered, okay?
Thank you for watching. Special shout out to Alex for commenting, and most importantly to Brad for not even being in the league and watching the stream. Any questions you guys ever have for fantasy football, we'll be happy to answer on the show.
I mean, we'll probably be wrong, but
we will be wrong.
We will give you our best shot.
Yeah, lower your expectations a lot. We'll see you guys next week, probably on Wednesday. Thanks, man.